What's up, Royals? I'm Kai. Hope you're doing well, and this is a midweek update about the Resurgence gene, so stick around. You're watching Lucas Landon Royals. Hey Royals, so about this Resurgence gene. First of all, it's not called Resurgence. It goes by a different name. It is known as an incomplete dominant according to World of Ball Python. But I call it Resurgence because I'm just not ready to publicly announce it. Something that I'm working with, and it has been extremely frustrating and aggravating. But stick around to the end of the video because I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. So give you a little bit of history about my experience with the Resurgence gene. So I acquired a animal that is pastel and has 2 copies of the Resurgence gene. Now, because it was listed as a codom, I've been calling it a super Resurgence. And so the first year I used that male and paired it with an ivory female. So she's got 2 copies of the yellow belly. I thought the Resurgence might be a allelic because they kind of look the same with the yellow belly. And it turned out wasn't allelic to the yellow belly. And in fact, out of that clutch of 8 eggs, only 3 survived. I had 3 hatchlings, and to kick me while I'm down, they were all male. So the second season, I used the same pastel visual Resurgence or super Resurgence and paired him to a clown because I was trying to dilute that male. So I wanted to get pastel out, and I also wanted to see what it looked like as a single copy of the Resurgence. And I thought, why not put it with a recessive mutation like the clown? So I paired that male to a visual clown and slugged out, just nothing, wasted a complete year. And so I was about to give up on it. And then the following season, I had 2 females that I acquired under the name, Resurgence, which is not really that name, it's the actual name. So, So the breeder labeled it as, a possible Resurgence. And I mean, to me, the animal did look it because of some conversations that I had and some experience and research that I've done. It looked like a really nice form of that combination plus the Resurgence. So those animals got to size, those 2 females got to size. I put the same male to those 2 females, and I was expecting to see the super form of Resurgence, and I didn't. So I concluded that those 2 females were not possible Resurgence. They were just not Resurgence. So I kind of thought that maybe the Resurgence gene wasn't a codom, maybe it's a recessive, because a lot of times when you have a het recessive, the animal just looks a little bit better than its non-het counterpart. So if you have a normal het for something will look a little bit better than a normal, and typically speaking. And if you have maybe like a enchi double het for 2 other genes or triple het for something else, that enchi typically will look better, or a very good example of an enchi. And if you have maybe like a pastel yellow belly double het, triple het for something, it'll look like a really nice example of a pastel yellow belly. I think you get the point. So the fact that they look a little bit better is what we kind of refer to as a recessive bleed through, because the het forms, or the double het or the triple het or quadruple het, whatever it is, just makes the animal look a little bit better than if it didn't have those hets. And so, like I said, that's what we call the recessive bleed through. And so maybe those females that I had weren't het for Resurgence, didn't have Resurgence at all, but they were just nice quality animals And so the breeder thought that they might have Resurgence or het for Resurgence. And so that's why when I bred it to my male that has 2 copies of the Resurgence gene, I ended up not seeing any visual super Resurgence, and therefore I started to think that maybe it's recessive. So from this point on, I'm going to treat Resurgence as a recessive mutation. So you'll hear me say het Resurgence, meaning that it has 1 copy of that Resurgence gene. I'll also say Resurgence or visual Resurgence, meaning that it has 2 copies of that gene, the homozygous form. So after 3 years of working with this gene and consistently failing at it, getting aggravated and irritated and frustrated, we are now in the 4th year or 4th season of working with Resurgence. And I again try to put that male to a clown female, a different clown female than I did in the 2nd season. And I got 4 very, very nice eggs, very large eggs. They were viable, very strong, with the veins looked very clear. The embryo was there. I popped them into an egg box, put them into an incubator. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will know what happened to that clutch of eggs. Yeah, that's right. They turned into Easter eggs. They turned pink and green and blue, and they look funny. It wasn't funny to me, and the smell made me want to vomit. It was nasty, and that was just another failure. So you know, this hobby is not all success stories. There are failures, there are setbacks, and this one is a huge failure and setback for me, and I wanted to bring that to light. That's why I'm making this video. That's why I post these things on Instagram and Facebook. And you know, a lot of people did comment on my post. I thank you guys for your kind words. Some people actually went above and beyond and reached out to me through text messaging and DMs and things, and just let me know to keep my head up and keep moving forward. So thank you guys for that. Also, some people did try to theorize what could have happened. I think the 2 most common theories were that maybe the incubator box was too small. I have hatched eggs in that container before, but these are really, really big, 4 really, really big eggs. So maybe that's one reason why, you know, they turned moldy, because maybe there wasn't enough air in there. Also, people were saying that there's a lot of condensation, and yes, there were. There is a little button at the very top on the lid that you can push and it'll open up a little hole. I did have it opened, but again, I think because the container was small, and there were plenty of water, maybe that was what caused it. I don't know, maybe the combination of too much water and too small of a box. I'm not really sure if the bacteria killed the eggs first, because the green, the blue, the pink, that is a sign of a bacteria, or maybe the humidity and the lack of air in the box killed the eggs and then bacteria took a hold of it. I'm not really sure, but like I said, there is a little light at the end of the tunnel. So even after all of these failures and setbacks, we have 1 viable clutch. And the female to this clutch, I did show you in a previous video. I think it was like a video of females that could be laying or first-time breeders this season in 2021. One of those females is a Enchi Lesser Het Resurgence. So of course in that video, I called it Resurgence. Oh, by the way, I probably should stop saying it's a lesser. It was actually labeled as Enchi Butter Resurgence. So I'll stick with butter, but just to clarify everything, I'm now referring to that animal as Enchi Butter Het Resurgence, and the male is the same pastel visual Resurgence. So hoping that we'll produce some cool babies, and maybe we'll see more visual representations, visual combos of with the Resurgence gene. I have some footage of the female on those eggs, and you can see as I pull her off of those eggs, there's some nice viable eggs. Those are in the incubator at this point, and in about 55 to 60 days, we should hopefully see some hatchlings. And I really need this to succeed because, as you know, after 3 years of failure and that clutch of het clowns that went bad, it's been a tough road. So yeah, in about 55 to 60 days, I'll be sure to post an egg cutting video so you guys can see what the results of this clutch, and hopefully we get some healthy animals. So that about wraps things up. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel and you want to be informed of future uploads, make sure you're subscribed and ring that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching. Please share, and remember, Royals for life. Peace out.